On my show, I have the organization 100 Black Men, the Philadelphia chapter. I have Aquil here with me today, Jermaine here with me today, and also Joel, who is the president of the Philadelphia chapter. And I want to thank you guys for coming on my show.
No problem. Thank you for having
So,
us.
tell us a little bit about 100 Black Men.
Okay, so 100 Black Men is an organization that's it's an organization that's nationwide, but this chapter specifically, Philadelphia chapter, is a chapter that I'll tell you my personal experience with the chapter. The chapter is a organization that builds black men, build young black men, give them models and figures to look up to,
Yeah.
give them something to, many of us in Philadelphia neighborhoods, we might not have these role models. Somebody close to us may not be a president of something, or just in positions where we don't typically see. I feel like you come to this organization and you get to see people that look just like you, but that are standing in outstanding positions.
Yes, yes. So, were you mentored through this organization yourself?
So I'm fairly new to the organization, but I am being mentored as well. I'm providing mentorship and I'm being mentored. So it's like a lifelong mentor program. Like, we got the youngest person that I worked with is in kindergarten,
Okay.
about last week, and we have like people in the organization that are in their 80s. So it's like a lifelong mentorship.
Okay. So, does the chapter just help young boys, or is it for young girls as well? Do you mentor young girls as well?
So there are annex programs that we have that do help girls. Like the president of the organization, Joe, he runs a program called Tech Core.
Okay.
And then this Tech Core program, it allows for young boys and young girls to come along.
That's great. That's
Yes.
great. So, in this city, I noticed that you guys have a mentoring program that you do on Saturdays at
Right.
Volks. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well,
Toucan.
So during this Saturday program, it's like a Saturday enrichment program. I'll tell you my main takeaway from the Saturday program. I have a younger cousin who I just started bringing along to the Saturday programs. I feel like this is an opportunity where a lot of kids can get the chance to be kids.
Okay.
I feel like in Philly, a lot of us grow up pretty fast, just from the stuff that we're exposed to,
Right.
and they don't have the opportunity to just be children. So what I get from the younger kids at this program, by the beginning, I'm sure like when they got to wake up in the morning and come, they're giving their parents a struggle, but by the end, most of them are saying they don't want to leave.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's very important to me. Like it gives the younger kids an opportunity to be kids, and it gives the more mature, like the middle to high school age, is giving them actual guidance, like guidance to career paths or whatever they want to do in their life.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So I love the organization and the fact that you guys are mentoring the youth, because, like you said, in our city, the children have to grow up so fast because of the environment that they're in, and there's not a lot of programs like 100 Black Men in the city that even dedicates their time
absolutely.
to even mentor the children. So, Jermaine,
Mhm.
tell us how you got started in the program.
Well, I've been a part of 100 for about, I want to say 3, maybe 4 years.
Okay.
In my capacity of being there, I served as the vice president of administration and then doing mentoring on Saturday. So our hallmark of our program is the Saturday Leadership Academy,
Okay.
which Coquel was talking about. And so we get the chance to be able, like he said, to mentor there. And my experience being there, when I first got there, it was awesome because I felt a sense of brotherhood amongst the men.
Right.
You wouldn't even know these are some of the most influential men at this program, but you would never know because
Right.
they were so down to earth
Right.
and they never flaunted.
Right.
And so their whole mindset was all about how can we help these young brothers out in the community, and that's what I fell in love with. Because as a young guy, I look young, but I'm not young in numbers. Yeah, I mean I'm still young, but
Right.
I'm 47.
Okay.
So I remember coming up in Philly and trying to look for some good role models.
Yes.
And everybody that was in the streets, they was a role model, but role model in the wrong way,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
So this program allows you to be able to experience working with, like Quill said, men that's in their 20s, 30s, all the way up to 60s and
Wow.
plus. And they all come with various backgrounds and give valuable information. And it's really not just the information, it's really like a family.
Yes.
Like, we feel good being around one another, to the point that my youngest son, he's 27, he's a part of it.
Wow, that's
so I
awesome.
bore him into it, and he's loving it. And we got other brothers in there that have their sons included in there.
Right.
So my experience has been awesome. Just to be able to just like to talk to the young guys and to be able to teach them, but just to hang out with them, because some of these young guys, you would never know how smart they are.
Right.
Like, and it's up for people like us to be able to pull out the potential that they have inside of them, so they can realize, guess what, I can do something else better than playing PlayStation, because PlayStation,
Yes,
the
that's
thing,
the thing. That's the
Xbox,
thing.
PlayStation. But then they find out, man, you know what? I know how to calculate on PlayStation. Guess what? I know math.
Right.
And so now I can learn economy.
Right.
And I can learn finance.
Right.
And so it becomes a great feeling when you see the light bulb go off
Yes.
in their eyes.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I'm doing something that I never thought I would be able to do.
Right.
And here it is. And so one of our mottos is, what they see is what they'll be. And so we make sure that as black men, that we try to represent that for them.
And I love that. What they'll see is what they'll be.
Absolutely.
That's great, because it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true, because when they're in the street and they see those influences in the street, that's exactly what they gravitate to. So to have an organization where not only are they there to, be mentored, but someone is actually showing them love as well.
Absolutely.
And a lot of these young, these children, they're not getting the love that they may need at home.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no, shout out, disrespect to the parents, but I know myself as a young parent, I work so much, you know what I'm saying, and I wasn't always home for my children when they might have needed me, because I was always working,
Right.
And when they became an adult, and they were like, well, you were at work, and you don't think about those things. So if they
Right.
would have had a program
Mm-hmm.
like 100 Black Men, or your extension of your program, to something to gravitate towards when I was at work, they may not have had those feelings like, well, mom was at work and I wasn't home, because of course I had no choice but to be at work, right?
And I'm excited that you said that, because with our program on our Saturday, we have a parent program too.
That
And
is
so
awesome.
we're like, we're not babysitters.
I saw that.
We want you to bring your kids, but guess what? Won't you
You
come
come.
and be educated too?
Yeah.
Because there's no sense for your child to come, get educated, grow, and then that you're not doing the same
Right.
thing. We're trying to help give you resources so that after Saturday they leave, your child leave, y'all now have something to talk about,
yes.
and now the community grows.
So what kind of things do you do with the program for the parents?
Oh, everything. Teach them about finance. Give them resources on how to. Not saying that no one's a good parent,
Right.
but how to be a better parent.
Yes.
Being able to connect the lessons that we teach our young people, so that, like I said, there is communication down.
Right.
Because I remember growing up, it was always a communication gap. And that's
Yes.
with a lot of kids.
Yes.
It's always that
Yes.
gap. Like your mom, your dad, they from the 60s.
They don't understand me,
yeah,
right?
You grew up in the 80s. But the crazy thing is there's similarity there.
Right.
It's just, how do I apply it? How do I find them similarities and be able to talk to my kids so that they can understand me and I can understand them? Go ahead, Coach. You probably gonna say
Yeah, I
something.
was also gonna offer you saying, like, you not being there at times because of work. That's something that a lot of us have been through. But one thing I love about this program is, like he said, it's more like a family. So I feel like it takes a village to raise a child.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we all don't have every single resource
Right.
or every idea that can bring this child's dreams to fruition. So
Yeah.
we need to do it as a collective and as a group. So I think that's like one of the main cores of 100 Black Men, of working together to build this together.
And that's when we were young, because I can remember when I was young. When I grew up, the block that I grew up on, everybody was like aunt,
Yeah.
uncle, and you had, if you do something like, you're gonna get in trouble by them.
Right.
And then when they tell your
Yeah.
mother or your grandmother or
Yeah.
your aunt or your uncle, you're in
Yeah.
trouble by them too. And
Yeah.
now we don't necessarily see that. You know what I'm saying? I definitely don't see it as
Hey,
much. You know what I
listen.
mean? And having a program like this is, especially bringing the parents in, because a lot of times when you have a child young, or when you're busy, or when life is in the way, and you just don't have time to talk to the kids about things like that, because a lot of times you don't even think about it. You know what I'm saying? You're just going on, you're just living your life. So to have a program that includes the parents,
Yeah.
teaching them finance, teaching them economics, because I know nobody can teach me finance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was, when I went to college, then I learned a little bit about finance. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, these are the things that the children need to learn in their youth, so that when they grow up, they don't have to worry about bad credit. They can know a little bit about economics. They can know about, you buy a home, and the value of having a home, And that's, I saw a lot of the things that you guys do with the children, like taking them on trips and things like that. And I really liked it. It really was like, wow, they even take them on trips. And so what kind of trips do you necessarily take them on?
This past summer we took them on a farm.
Oh man, that's great.
So we took them on a farm. I can't remember exactly what the name of it was, but it was a farm. And so, of course, you got city kids.
Yes.
And they're like, what is this? So
Right.
at first they were just like trying to catch the vibe, like
Right.
where do they have us at? What's going on? And so by the time we left there, they were so excited for
Right.
being there, because they were able to pick up chickens. They were able to feed goats.
Right.
And not only doing those activities, but they learned about what they were doing and why they had to do it. And so by the time you got 16, 17-year-old kids holding up chickens, taking
Right.
pictures, smiling, and they were like, yo, this was the best thing ever. Like, why? Because we took you out of your environment,
Exactly.
exposed you to something that you've never done before, and now you have a great appreciation for the world, and that was only just a small
Exactly.
part.
And and it's so funny that our kids we're so far away from agriculture and farming, because
absolutely.
that's what our people did.
Right.
Our people were the ones who were running the farms and taking care of the animals and
Right.
growing the plants, growing the food. And for our children to be disconnected from farming, from agriculture, is really a disservice, because you never know if you would like it.
Yeah.
Right.
You never know. Like, we have one agricultural school in the city, and that's all.
Right.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be one agricultural school, in the city. These are things that should be available to children everywhere.
Absolutely.
Because somebody might want to be a farmer. You know what I mean? Somebody might want to grow vegetables. Somebody might want to do a lot of things that they don't see happening in their community. And that's a disadvantage. So
Right.
to take them to a farm,
Mm-hmm.
I bet you it was really enlightening for them, right? I bet you they loved it.
Hey, they like I said, they loved it. So that's one of the things that we did. We also took them fishing this past what was it, August?
Yeah, that was in
Okay.
August.
Yeah, we took them fishing. And one of the great initiatives that Brother Joel, our president, did was, so we know about the murder rate.
Right.
It's crazy in
Yes.
Philadelphia. And so during the summer, we usually take off July and August and start back up.
Okay.
Well, because of the crisis that was happening, Brother Joe said, hey, y'all, we need to do something.
Right.
I know y'all tired. Hey, we
Right.
have to.
Right.
And so we created a summer program where we did physical exercise with the kids. That's when we took them fishing.
Okay.
What else did we do? We did a couple of other things.
As well, in that program, we, like, one of our trips, we met downtown, and we went out for breakfast at
Okay.
Redden Terminal, and then we took them to the free library,
Yeah.
made sure that everybody was signed up and
Right.
had library cards,
Yes.
and then to finish that day off, we went bowling. So just a day like it was learning in there.
Mhm.
We had some exercise because we were walking,
Right.
but as well they were able to have some fun.
Kids like fun.
Yeah.
So if you can put learning together with fun, you'll get them to work at their highest level.
Right.
That's right.
And a lot of people don't have faith in our children, you know what I mean? And it's sad that it's that way. And when you're working in the community and you're working with children, because I know I worked with children for years. I was a school bus driver.
Okay.
I worked at a school at the front desk, and I just love pouring into the youth. It's nothing like pouring into the youth, because you never know, like I said, me as a school bus driver, sometimes a child will get on the bus and you could just tell
Oh yeah.
that something ain't right at home.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just to say, it's gonna be okay. Is to see their face light up.
Right.
It's nothing like seeing a child glow.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why more of us don't invest our time in the children.
Yeah.
Because it might sound cliche, but the children are the future.
They literally
Yeah.
are.
Right?
Yeah, but they're so, it doesn't make an excuse, but because of how things have so much changed
Yes.
with our young people, starting at the early ages of like 13, and the violence and the gun
Yes.
violence, a lot of our older adults and gatekeepers, they're kind of afraid
Right.
to make
Absolutely.
to connect.
Yes.
And so I always say, never be afraid of your own skin.
Yes.
I know it's dangerous,
Yes.
and you got to be cautious and use some sense. But there's some way that you can find a way to make a connection with somebody. And it ain't
Absolutely.
got to be everybody,
Absolutely.
but it has, just that one or two young people that you connect with. I remember growing up down South Philly.
I'm from South
Well,
Philly
not-
too.
Well, I'm from West. I'm from
Okay.
Southwest,
Okay.
but I used
North
to.
Philly, right?
Nah, don't Philly now. He said, "Don't forget me." I used to do community work down South Philly.
Okay.
And so it was always this group that was across the street, young guys. And I used to always see it. People would walk past them, or they would cross the street and go. And I was like, you know what? Let me go over there.
Right.
And when I went over there, sparked up a conversation, and I was able to get them into a trade program.
Okay.
A lot of those guys, they may look scary, but
But
they
they're
want
not.
help.
They do.
They want somebody to talk to them and not be necessarily afraid of them.
Yeah.
And you never know what can happen. I mean, I always remember that Biggie song when he said, back in the day they used to talk to us, now they scared of us.
Yeah.
But that's a cry of saying, listen, I know we look the way we do, and you may be afraid of it, but really we want that attention. We need somebody
Yes.
to talk to get us
Yes.
out of our situation. And that's all it takes. And I'm glad that that's what 100 Men do.
Yes.
We're it's dangerous, but we're not afraid, because at the end of the day, you us.
Right.
When I look at a young guy, I see myself.
I was you. You
Yeah.
know.
Really. That's what I was gonna say. Like when I'm working with these young men, I feel like I'm literally working with myself. Like
Right.
I'm pouring into myself. Like it's
Yes.
not even by me pouring into them. I'm pouring into myself. I'm pouring into the whole community. And like he said, a lot of people like get I guess like they getting scared of the
Right.
youth.
Yes.
But honestly, they're human and they going through some things and they just need somebody to talk to.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So I feel like you just gotta open up, and as well, like brother said, you it might not be the whole mass that you connect with, but you showing up, you can just connect with one
Right.
person. It could be
Yes.
that one child
Yes.
that directly connects with you or directly sees themselves within you. So just by showing up, you showing up for everybody.
Yes, and that's absolutely true, because when I drove the school bus, right, I had 9th graders, right, and whenever I was at work, my coworkers would say, those kids, I don't know how you drive with those kids on that bus. And I'm like, well, what happened? They were like, oh, they are terrible. I'm like, well, they don't act like that when I'm on the bus, right? And they was like, well, they don't act like that with you. And I said, no. I said, see, I connected with them.
Yeah.
First thing I did was, I know how kids are. I put on some rap music on my bus, right?
Right.
I put a little Drake on. When they got on the bus, they heard Drake. That was the first thing. They was like, oh, she playing some Drake. It kind of broke the ice.
Yeah.
And when I was leaving, I told them, I was like, I'm not coming back. They were so sad. They were like, you're not coming back? And they was like, oh, can we have a hug? And it's like, you can have an effect on them.
Exactly.
Because I let them know. Like, they was cutting up on my bus. I said, listen, if I didn't care about y'all, I wouldn't say nothing. Because the cops will come on this bus. All I have to do is make one call, and the cops will come and take you off the bus. I said, but I don't want to call cops on young black boys or young black girls.
Right.
The only thing I ask is that you stay in your seat, don't cuss and be disrespectful on my bus. You can listen to the music, y'all can talk loud. I mean, you're kids.
Right.
But respect me, and I'm going to respect you. And if not, I'm going to kick you off my bus. You know what I'm saying?
I remember the school
Yeah.
bus,
Yes.
man. I used to love taking the school
Yeah.
bus. While everybody else driving their cars, I'm like, look, I'm getting on a school bus.
Right. But it made a difference.
Yeah.
But a lot of the coworkers, they don't like the kids, so they get to holler.
Yeah.
I won't say they don't like them, but they don't have the patience.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to have patience with these kids, because you don't know what you don't know what they're going through. when they get on the bus.
That's the biggest thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Patience
Yes.
is key
Yes.
because when you become patient with kids, time reveals all things.
Yes.
And you just need the patience to let these kids see, one, that you're authentic, that you genuine.
Yes.
Like, you just not somebody that's here for a paycheck or whatever the case may be, but you really want to find out about them
Right.
and invest into them. And once you have that patience to find that out, let them find that out about you,
Right.
then they start opening up little by little. And even
Yes.
during that process, patience still, because who gonna just divulge all their information
Exactly.
about themselves and all their
Nobody.
problems to you?
Exactly.
Right.
They're not.
Nobody.
They're not. Not
Yeah.
if they don't think they can trust you. What would they,
Exactly.
you know,
There you go,
if
that
they
T
feel
word.
like they have to trust you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's important that the youth do trust us as adults
Yeah.
because they are us. You know, and if we don't give them the right upbringing, if we don't give them the right advice, then they'll go out there and they'll get themselves involved in anything if they make it. Because so many of our youth are every day. You know what I'm saying? And it's so sad. It's like the murder rate in this city is
Four.
it's crazy.
400.
It's crazy, and it's like we can't get enough 100 black men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know. So how many chapters are there altogether besides the Philadelphia chapter? Do you know?
Man, it's so we're nationwide. Brother Joe could probably speak to that
Okay.
weight. And here he comes. He's like, ding, cue.
It's over 110 chapters.
Over 110
We're
chapters.
international. We have chapters in London, Turks and Caicos,
Yeah.
and also in Ghana.
Wow, that is awesome. London. So you guys, do you guys ever travel to the other chapters?
When we have a national
Nationals.
conference, that's probably the biggest time we travel. That's in June. And so the last time we had a nationals before COVID was in 2019.
Okay.
So in 2019, it was in Las Vegas at the Caesars Palace. And so we took 13 youth to Vegas. They competed in the hands-on banking competition,
Wow.
African American History Challenge
Yes.
competition, dollars and cents. So we actually, our young folks came in second place for hands-on banking. They won like $1,000 each.
Okay.
They came in second place for African American History Challenge. There, they also won $1,000. The two young folks on that team. And we just had a great experience.
That's
So
awesome.
that's when you travel and you get to meet brothers from all over the country. Because I'm president, I travel also to our leadership conference. That's in December. So regrettably, this year is going to be virtual.
Right.
But that's when you really get to meet with other brothers and see how other chapters are working. And I just have a great network of presidents and leaders around the country. We've won. Some of the things that we've done now is that we won a new grant from Home Depot. So
Wow.
we now have a pre-apprenticeship trades program where we're teaching, getting young folks 11th and 12th grade ready to enter the trades, to become a plumber, electrician, a carpenter.
Yes.
And we built a relationship with Williamson's College for Trade. And this is a college, a 3-year college, 100% free.
Wow.
Every student there, no cost. Room and board. It's only for boys. You have to be for young men, 18 to 20. We're taking
Can you
a
repeat
bus
that? What's
trip.
the name of that school?
Williamson's College. And we
Williamson's
have a tour
College.
we're going on Saturday. So
Wow.
folks listening, if you go to our Facebook page, folks can sign up now.
Okay.
You have a young man, 11th and 12th grade, they can sign up, get on the bus. All this is free. You know,
Wow.
they rented a bus. We're taking folks up there, and they'll spend the morning there. It starts like 8:45 and it ends like 11:45. They'll get something to eat.
Right.
But they're going to learn what it takes to be successful. Now, here's some of the stats with Williamson. Every graduate, 5 job offers.
Wow.
Average salary, starting salary, 50 grand. And in 5 years, you're at 6 figures. You had no debt.
Wow. So to all my listeners, if you guys heard that, it's called the Williamson's College of Trades, 3-year college, no fees. You don't have to pay.
That's
The
right.
students get the trade experience, and they also may get a job where they start off at $50,000 a year, and up to 6 figures in 5
Within
years.
6 years, because you're learning more, you're becoming
Advancing.
really skilled at what you're
Wow.
doing. You're making over 6 figures.
And that's awesome because the trades the trades are so needed in our community. I went to Bach, and they had everything there. And I have friends that are master plumbers, friends that build houses, carpenters, fix cars, all because this is the trade that they got in high school.
And like I said before, when talking to the young guys, a lot of these guys don't feel like they're equipped for college,
Right.
which is cool. So if you're not good in college, but they felt they were like, but I know carpentry work. I know some things.
Exactly.
And so now it's only our job to be able to guide them to the correct resource
Right.
so that they can develop that skill.
Yes.
The great thing that I love about 100 Black Men is that you keep noticing when we mention our programs and what we do, you always keep hearing free.
Yes. People like free.
You can hear free and free, but you get an incentive by
Right.
going through something,
Right.
whether it's financial, whatever the case may be. And so that's one of the great things I love about
Right.
it is that, one, the brothers that do this work, we don't get paid for it.
Right.
We doing it because we want to do it. We try to make sure that through brother Joel and through the rest of the board membership that we're getting grants to be able to not only just support little stuff, but to have money
Right,
so
to
that
do
we
the
can,
thing.
because having $50 cool, but if I can get
$55,000,
55,000,
right, exactly.
that's better,
Absolutely.
So that's how we run the program. Through grants, people donating and they fund it, and we put the resources to work.
Okay, so if any of my listeners, I'm sorry to cut you off, out there would like to donate to 100 Black Men, they're on Instagram at 100 Black Men.
100 Black Men Philly.
100 Black Men Philly.
Philly is Instagram. Our website is 100 www.100blackmenphilly.org.
Okay.
And our Eventbrite page, because if you want to sign up for anything, you just go to 100bmp.eventbrite.com. And on there right now, we're having a costume and hero party on October
I saw that.
30th. These are for our young ones from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The cost is free 99.
Free 99.
Free 99.
Free
You know,
99.
Wear your
That word.
costume, dress up as your favorite hero.
Right.
Or whatever you want to be in the future. You want to be a doctor, come in scrubs.
Right.
You want to be a scientist, get your little goggles on.
Yes.
You want to be, a programmer, come with a little keyboard. And everything is free. We're bringing out Sweet Treat Hut, one of the
I know.
famous black smoothie
Yes.
companies. They're going to be giving out smoothie samples all day long. You don't have to pay for it.
Yes.
It's going to be a great, adults can wear costume.
Yes,
But
that's
we're just telling all of our beautiful adults out there, this is family friendly. Family friendly. This is not BET.
No stripper costume.
Family friendly. Come on out there, have your shirt buttoned up. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a nice event.
Come as a nurse, please. So go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, let's back to what you were talking about, the children trusting. I feel like a lot of times what can deter young black men or young black people in general from a lot of programs or anything like this is because you hear a lot of people just talking and just saying things and
Right.
saying things, but they don't have anything behind it to back it up. And what I can definitely say about 100 Black Men is that they're walking the same way that they're talking. So I feel like it's actual, it's legit, it's real, and it's tangible. So it's not like just words flying around the
Right.
kid's head.
Yes.
You know?
Because see, kids are smart.
Yeah, yeah.
They know when you just talking. And they will test
Pick
you
it up.
on it. You know what I mean? They will definitely test you on it. So, Mr. Wilson, how long have you been doing 100 Black Men?
I joined in 2018,
Okay.
and
There you go.
I joined back in 2018, and it was just a whirlwind because within 45 days I was a board member.
Wow.
And then I think within 6 months I was the vice president. And then shortly thereafter I was approached to become president, and I actually turned it down twice. I said no.
Wow.
I didn't want to be president. I was fine with just working with the kids. And then when they came with the third time, they came with an offer that I couldn't refuse. So then I agreed, but I still had a year to prepare.
Right.
And I sort of got stuff ready in my life because it's a big responsibility. So I was a trustee in my church. I actually didn't renew my trustee. I didn't cycle back on.
Okay.
Just so I can free up, actual time. I need to free up some mental space time because you go through a lot. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, especially when we're dealing with some of the trauma issues.
Yes.
You gotta step away and be able to recuperate.
Yeah.
So I needed to get myself ready for the position. and now we just have such an incredible board. The brothers that we have serving. So I'm just glad that God has placed me in this position at this time, and I can use all my skill sets to try to help the community.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to say for me, it's appreciated.
Thank you.
Because, like I said, we don't see enough mentorship in our city, and people are afraid to talk to the youth. But like you said, you shouldn't be afraid to talk to who you are, because if we don't get a hold of our youth, who will?
Right.
Because we see what can happen if someone else gets a hold of them. You know what I mean? And it's important that go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, it's something that I realized, that actually every youth is in an internship. The only question is whether it's a good internship or not.
Yes. Yes.
So what we are doing is we are making sure that the youth we encounter, they experience good men that's not trying to exploit them in any way,
Yes.
not trying to steer them wrong, not trying to beat them for their money. I grew up in the time with Steady B. Like, we're contemporaries.
Yes.
And what I always say is that Steady B is the victim of bad mentorship, because the old folks in his corner with his contracts and all of that, they jerked him.
Yes.
And he was a young guy running around the street. He had everyone believing he made all this money, and his ego kicked in.
Right.
So when he wasn't making the money, instead of figuring it out, he went and did what he did.
Exactly.
And now he'll never come out of jail.
Yes.
So when those young guys come to us, because they come to us with issues, we are giving them sound advice. We're not giving you no advice that's going to get you locked up or turn you destitute, make you worse off than you are. Because when you get hurt like that, you'll probably lose those people forever.
Yes.
And these young guys and young ladies, we do have co-ed programs too. We are, we not no R. Kellys. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We not none of that kind of crazy. And I'll even say, every brother in the chapter, we get both criminal clearance and child abuse clearances on them. So we take that very seriously.
Yes. Yes, because you have people who prey on children.
Absolutely.
They might look like they have good intentions, but once they are in there, it's otherwise.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's
They're wolves in sheepskin clothing.
Absolutely, and it's unfortunate because those are the reasons why the youth don't trust people.
Exactly.
Right.
So
That's
many
what
of
I'm
youth
saying.
have been abused. You know what I mean? So many youth have going through these things, and then when you're trying to get a hold of them, it takes you so long to crack the surface because they've been hurt from so many different directions.
And build
you know
up
what
a
I mean?
wall.
Absolutely. And as a young man yourself,
Yes.
how important it is to have someone, because it's important, because I have a son. You know what I mean? But I have brothers too, and he has a dad. So when it was a question that I couldn't answer, I would go ask your dad. I didn't try to be the man. You know what I mean? Because I know, like, no matter what, he needs a man there at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it reminds me of a quote, and I can only paraphrase it, but it's easier to help a hurt child than it is to help a broken man.
Absolutely.
And our kids are hurt.
Yes.
But we can do something about
Yes.
it. We can start to begin to shape, we shape their reality. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Begin to start to shape the things that they're going through,
Right.
and to help start to bring that healing and everything. And we're not saying that we counselors or anything like that, but mentorship is, you get to talk to somebody and express what's going on, and hopefully that mentor can do that. And our brothers, we were able to do that. We're able to do that because we can identify, but also we have to go through a certification process through 100. We gotta get certified as mentors.
Okay.
So we not just this fly off
That's
by the
all.
wing. Oh yeah, let's go do this.
Right.
We have to get better and go through the process.
I
to be
love
able to
that
do
because it gives you accountability.
Absolutely.
It makes you accountable for what you do and say
Mhm.
to the children that you're working with, and it's important because too many of us do not like to accept accountability for things that we do. You know what I mean? So to have, just to have that extra protection for the children by having the clearances and having the certification, it shows that 100 Black Men is for real.
That's right.
They're for real. They've been around for a while. They've been around because I think the first chapter started in California.
No. We actually started in New York City,
Okay.
1963.
Okay, because I was reading something about the gentleman who started it, and of course.
The gentleman who started California, he is one of the founders out of New York.
Okay.
So when he was a doctor.
Okay.
When he moved to start California, he started a chapter. That's actually one. I think it may, if it's not the largest, one of the largest chapters in the country.
Okay. So the internet has it wrong. So you should check that out because it definitely said it started. So I'm glad you cleared that up. But I've heard of 100 Black Men, but not many people have. So just to know that it's like 113 chapters, that's a good thing to know that, because if you have family members that, if I have or know someone that's in another state and they listening, they have these chapters there. Because when I saw it and I saw what you guys were doing, I'm going to sign my grandson up. He's 9, and he really needs to like get outside because he's always on that PlayStation, like you said. And it's hard, you don't want to send the kids outside.
Right.
You don't want to send them out there because you don't know it don't take a second for something to happen. And unfortunately, that's our reality in this city, that we can't send our children outside, and it's so sad. You know what I mean? So just like I said, just to have the program is it's like a great thing for this city. It really is. Honestly, it's a great thing for this city, and so many of us don't know how accessible it is. Like, it's right there for us. You guys have been there. And I've heard about you before, but I didn't even think that it was a youth mentoring thing. You know what I mean? I thought it was just like a black man's organization for the men. Because it said 100 Black Men, so I'm like, it's something for the men. And I never even thought to look further, because I probably could have had my grandson or somebody else's child could have been knowing about this program. So it's just, so besides on Saturday, what else do you do? Do you do other things during the week? Or
so during the week, go ahead.
So we actually have 12. We're probably over 12 different mentoring programs now.
Okay. Wow.
So in Vaux Big Picture High School, we actually have created a multi-level relationship there.
Okay.
So we actually have taken over their after-school program. It's no longer called After School. It's called the 100 Success Academy.
Oh, that's what's up. I love it.
So plus we teach. We have about 6 different financial programs we teach. So we teach 2 of them in the school.
Okay.
So students, right in their class, in their math class, they're learning one of our financial programs. We have, when we get to our African History Challenge, that's something that is, it's run sort of like a sports event. So you have coaches, adult service coaches, they have 2-person student teams, they're reading a book, and they're competing against each other in a Jeopardy style activity.
That's awesome.
So those are just some of the things. Our Home Depot grant program, that's going to kick off next month in November. So we're actively signing kids up for that program now. And Manhood 101, that's for our high school young folks. And they meet on the first and third Saturdays along with the Saturday Leadership Academy. So we are still in the process of adding on. And I will say, I'm proud to announce this, that we recently won a grant from the state. And so this is allowing us to expand. And so what we're doing now, first we got to hire some more folks, because all the brothers, we don't get paid.
Okay.
But we want to expand and not just be open on 2 Saturdays a month, but every Saturday.
Yes.
But to accomplish that, we have to hire some folks. So we're going to be hiring, like, so Brother Akil, he's
Aquil.
Aquil. Brother Aquil, he just graduated from Temple in the spring.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
So, but and he's still, for all intents and purposes, for us, he's a college student.
Right.
So when our college students come, they actually get a stipend when they work with the younger kids.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're going to be hiring more college students. So once we get that done, we're going to be open every Saturday.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you just graduated from Temple.
I did.
Congratulations.
Yes, but I'm still there.
Well, So what did you major in?
So I'm majoring in kinesiology.
Oh,
Yeah.
movement, huh?
Yeah, body movement. But I'm trying to. I'm now taking organic chemistry so that I can apply to med school.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Now, see, I love that. I love that because I have not sat next to any young men that told me they were going to be a doctor. So I'm honored.
I feel like the same. I feel honored when I share it with the young men as well, because I feel like a lot of times we feel so far removed from these things, but I'm from the same neighborhood. Like I'm walking distance from Vaux, so it's like I feel like I'm allowing them to see like I'm just regular. I'm just a regular old you. You know what I'm trying to say? But I just have this dream. But we both can do it, even if that's not your same specific dream. But I'm not any grand or any different. Like I'm right here with you.
And you say that, and it's unfortunately for our children, they don't know the history of their people to understand that the greatness that they come from. You know what I'm saying? Because we had Dr. Benjamin Banneker. You know what I'm saying? Why can I never think of the Peanuts?
Dr. Drew, Charles Drew.
Dr. Charles Drew with the heart.
Yeah.
We have, who's the Peanut?
Carver.
Dr. George Washington Carver, you know, and so many more. You know what I mean? And
So let me throw a new one at you. We have a young man in this city, Dr. James Tarver. Hopefully
Okay.
he won't, be mad at me for putting his name out there. But he's only 40 years old. He was the lead scientist testing COVID for University of Penn.
oh, that's what, and see,
40
now I read a
years
lot
old.
of Penn stuff and I didn't hear anything about that. So that's what's up, Dr.
And we're
Carver.
bringing him, he's going to be speaking for us in November, so you'll see information on that.
Absolutely. And see, that's awesome. That's awesome. Just to know that somebody right here from Philly is on a COVID team. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because, like you said,
Not on it, he led the
he
COVID
led it.
team.
It's his. He running it. You know what I'm saying? And that's, like you said, that's something that our children don't see. And it's such a shame that they are so far removed from the greatness of who they are. See, I'm big on that with the kids. Like with my grandchildren, I teach them all about history. I teach them the real stuff. You know, maybe not the stuff that they're going to tell you in the book, but what's real. Because a lot of times our history is watered down. And I firmly believe that if a child doesn't know the greatness that they come from, then they don't strive for greatness.
Right.
Because they don't think that it's them, that it can be them. But I always tell my grandchildren, our ancestors came from slavery. Some of them didn't. But at the end of the day, look at all they went through, and we're still here.
But our timeline is much longer than that.
That's right.
We come from the kings
Well,
and
yeah,
queens,
before that.
You know,
Yeah,
Songhai,
absolutely.
Mali, Ghana.
Yes.
You know, we're talking about
The
descendants of
pyramids.
Hannibal.
Yes.
You know, we're the folks, like my family, we trace back to Amistad, Sierra Leone.
Wow.
So my ancestors killed all the folks on the boat
That's-
that
that's-
grabbed them from
that's what
Africa.
I'm talking
So that's
about.
what we gotta let our folks
Listen.
know.
That's why he a warrior.
You know, it's awesome to hear that. My great-grandmother's first cousin was Booker T. Washington.
Okay, okay.
And I never knew that. Like she never told me this. Like she told me a lot of stuff because she lived until she was 104, and I was like a history buff. So when I would hear some stuff in school, of course, she was born in 1889. I would run home and ask her, and she would say, "That's not true." She killed a lot of she dispelled a lot of myths for me. Trust me, because she would tell me in a minute, "That's not true. Don't believe that. It was like this. It was like that." You know what I'm saying? And I did when I was in college. I was taking American history class, and we had to like talk to someone that was, civil rights, Jim Crow. And my great aunt, she was like, "Well, Booker T. Washington." And I'm like, "You guys never told me that. I could have bragged about that in school." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow, you know what I mean? And that's the things that I like to tell my grandchildren. Look at Booker T. Washington. Look him up. And I explain these things to them because, like you said, the reason why I said slavery is because so much of our history people think begin there, like you said. But I try to tell my grandchildren those people they were captured. They weren't slaves to begin with.
Right.
They were people that were enslaved. You know what I mean? And they were great people. They were kings and queens.
Those civilizations. Yeah.
They were the first people that ever hit this planet.
Right.
And it's important, like I said, that the youth know this because when you come from greatness, you strive from greatness. When you know that you come from greatness, you strive for greatness, and what you guys are doing is pushing those children to strive for greatness.
And I'm glad that we're kind of on that topic because me and Brother Joe, we had just been talking about a book club.
Okay.
And so our first book club will be in November.
That is
and so
awesome.
we're doing the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Wow, I love that book.
Oh yeah. And so this is what we want to teach our kids.
Yes.
They're not gonna get Malcolm X in high school, elementary.
Nope.
Nowhere near
Nope.
it. They crazy about critical race theory and
They sure
and they don't even teach it, but they're like, hey, we can't let people know about their history.
Right.
So it's like it's up for us to be able to do
And
something.
we have
like
to teach it. I remember when I lived in Williamsport, and I lived there for quite a few years. And I was talking to one of my coworkers and something. Malcolm X is like my favorite person in history, right? And I said something to her about Malcolm X. Well, she literally did not know and I know she didn't know who she was because you know how you can tell when somebody's like. And I was like, "Well, Malcolm X." She's like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "You don't know who Malcolm X is?" She's like, "No." I said, "You never heard him," but she's from there. Like she's born and raised in that area. And she was like, no, they never told us about him in school. And I said, you didn't see it on TV? But one thing I do know, they control the television up there, right? If you don't have cable, you only probably got like ABC. And on Saturdays, they showing like fishing shows. If you ain't connected to the city, you're not going to know nothing about nothing that happens in the cities, because they're not going to show it to you on there. Now, if you got cable, you might be privy to see. But they definitely control the structure of what the people in those areas watch.
Absolutely.
And it's important that we teach them too, because I never miss an opportunity to teach somebody about my people's history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they have sometimes they look down, or they look down on us, or they really sometimes think that we ain't that smart. You know what I mean? But it's all because of what they're taught.
That's right.
They don't know anything other than what they're taught.
Right.
And that's why it's important for our children to not only be in Philadelphia, for them to travel outside of this area, like what you guys do with your trips, because when you go outside of the norm,
Right.
it makes you want to strive for something greater. You know what I'm saying? When you see yourself, because I was in North Carolina yesterday, right? And the kids were outside just running and playing, and it was like a mixed community. But everybody was just so nice. You know, they were really down with the Southern hospitality, like it was real. And I was like, damn, this is like a nice place, but why should we have to always move to somewhere else and for us to have peace? You know what I mean? And it starts with the youth. And that's why I love the program, because the children that you guys are teaching, and I'm sure many of them will probably want to come back to the program themselves to help others, just because they had the experience and they were there to see it. And it's just awesome. Like, I've just loved the whole idea of taking the children out of the community, taking the children to the farm, taking the children to maybe even the airport. You know what I'm saying? Because you just don't know what the children don't get to see, you know, and having someone that cares enough to take you out of the norm is it's priceless.
Yep.
It's absolutely priceless. So is there anything else that you'd like to say about the program before we cut out?
Can we share the phone number? If anyone,
Oh, the Glock line. If anyone would like to talk to the gentleman before the show goes off, you guys can call in on the Glock line at 267-888-6019. Again, it's 267-888-6019. If you have any questions, or if you're interested in enrolling your youth into the program, again, the number is 267-888-6019. 100 Black Men, the Philadelphia chapter. And they're also, again, they're on Instagram at 100 Black Men Philly, right? At 100 Black Men Philly.
and if you want to give the office a call, 267-238-2900, 267-238-2900. Website, www.100blackmenphilly.org.
So that's 267 238 2900,
Extension 3.
extension 3. 267 238 2900, extension 3. That's 100 Black Men. Look, we don't even have to remember phone numbers no more, right? I forget all the phone numbers, right? But I'm definitely going to sign my grandson up. My grandson would really excel in a program like this, because my grandson loves cars. He knows about every car, the horsepower, what kind of engine. Well, he was always fascinated with cars.
Okay.
When he was a little boy, when he was like 2 or 3 years old, we used to go to the supermarket parking lot. He would always point to all the symbols on the car and ask me what they was when he was like 2.
Okay.
So I would say, like, that's a Toyota. But I wasn't thinking that he would really. He knows everything about. He can see. He saw this. I think it was like it's a new car that's electronic. I don't know if it was a Porsche or some new car, but it's electronic now. And he seen. And we were like a block away. He was like, "That's the new such and such, such." And I'm like, "That? How do you know?" We always we got up there. That was exactly what it was. And I'm like, "How the heck did that?" But he loves that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he needs to be in an environment that can push that. Because I always tell him, well, you want to be an engineer, you want to build cars, you got to know how to do math good. You know, you got to know how to put those numbers together. You can't be building people cars if you can't count stuff. And then your cars, I said, because you're going to get sued if the car ride down the street and fall apart, you're going to get sued. You know, people love to sue people. So you need to make sure when you go out there and do it. Because I signed them up for, they have the race car program for boys here, the NASCAR.
Okay.
on Delaware Avenue. They have a, and I didn't, all these years, I didn't even know that was here. It's been here for a really long time, and it's a NASCAR program, and the children go there, it's free. They teach them how to build a car. Take them to races. I mean, they teach them if you look on their website, they teach the kids a whole bunch of stuff. Right now, I think they're doing everything over viral. But I thought that was awesome, and I didn't know that was here. I saw someone else post that their sons were there at Facebook, and I said, "Are you kidding me?" And I went on their website, and it's been here for a really long time. And just see, it's just the idea that there are things here for our youth, and we don't even know that they're here.
Right.
Why don't they advertise that? You know?
Well, I think one of the things that's changing now, because a lot of the new grant money that's coming out for gun violence, is going to smaller nonprofits like 100.
Okay.
And the problem with a lot of us is that our budgets, we didn't have money for marketing.
Right.
So now we have money for marketing.
Right.
And so you probably got a good 20 small nonprofits that have funds where they can help push the message
Right.
of what they're doing. So prayerfully, this is going to work out and be a positive change. We're definitely going to be way more active in pushing our message into 100.
Absolutely, because the youth, I mean, if you guys could just grab a hold of like half of these kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, it would make such a difference, because it will help them understand. It will help them understand life, economics, and why things happen. You know what I mean?
And with that, we need the brothers.
Yes.
You know, because if we get 1,000 kids and it's only 20 brothers, then, you know, so we need the brothers. And the brothers, we need to let the brothers know that, you know, you ain't got to be this perfect
Exactly.
individual. You just got to have a willing heart to be able to make a difference in the
Yes.
young guy's life. And you never know what you, as a young brother, you can learn. I mean, you can learn as a
Yes.
brother. Because like we said, we have the Parent Academy thing. So, you know, there's opportunity for not only for you to help a young person, but for you to help yourself,
Exactly.
advance your skill so that you can do a greater work for young people.
Yeah.
So we just need brothers. I mean, you know, if you have skills, hey, bring it. You know, if been to college, haven't been to college, you've been to trade,
Right.
whatever the case may be. Come on, let's see if you fit this program, and then let's get to work.
You know, sometimes people think that they have to have a perfect life, but we know nobody's perfect.
No.
But if you did something in your life and you switched your whole life around and you changed everything and you on the straight and narrow and you're not R. Kelly type person, you know, reach out to 100 Black Men, because you know what you went through and where you are now could be a catalyst to help someone else. You know what I mean? To pull them out of something that they might be not get into.
Right.
As the new thing is your story.
Is
Your
that-
story is important.
Your story is absolutely important,
Yeah.
because that's why I started my podcast. You know, I'm not going to get all into it. If you watch my, you know, I've been through some tragedies in my life, and to come out of some of the things that I came out of was the reason why I started Willpower. And I mean, the name was perfect because it really took the will, you know, the power of will to get myself out of the situation that I was in mentally, you know, emotionally. You know what I'm
So
saying?
imagine you have that, the willpower, the emotion, and then you have a group of brothers that's skilled at something
Absolutely.
to bring both of those
Absolutely.
together. Sky is the limit for you.
It's absolutely sky's the limit. It's absolutely sky's the limit. I had, you know, I always try to tell people, no matter where you are in your life, no matter how old you are, or no matter where you are, you can always turn things around. You can always turn things around. You can always, like you said, share your story and save someone else from making the same mistakes that you made, going down the road that you're going, or if you didn't, stop you before you do. It's important, you know, stop you before you do. And that's what mentoring is all about. Like, I have nieces, and my nieces, I'm tight with all my nieces. Like, they could call me, because I keep it real with them. You know, I keep it real with all my little cousins, my nieces. This is what it is out there. I ain't going to sugarcoat nothing for you. I'm going to tell you just how it is. And if you choose to go this way, after I told you, you know, that was your choice, you know. Because I can remember my aunts and family members telling me things. And I still went out and did, you know, wasn't that bad, you know. But I still went out and did some things that they said don't do.
Right.
And it kicked me in the butt, you know what I mean?
Right.
So having people that care, mentors, and people to, at least if you did something wrong and they told you, you know it was your fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where the mentorship comes from. And mentorship never stops. Because I'm in a mentorship program right now. Now, mine ain't free. But it was worth it. You know what I'm saying? Because we all need that. You know, wherever career we're in, whatever we're going through in life, we just might need that next. We might need that person to say, nah, you probably don't want to do it this way. You should do it that way. It might turn out better if you do.
Exactly. And I feel like having mentorship, like you relieve yourself from so many. I feel like a lot of people, they like to try to like learn things on their, they feel like they got to learn things on their own. I'm not that type of person at all. Like, I would rather learn from somebody else. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's the great thing about mentorship. Like, for me specifically, my mentor who introduced me to 100 Black Men, his name is Arthur Wells, Max for short. He's just been a guiding light for me. He's a part of this program as well, and just help keep me on a straight and narrow.
Right.
Like, you know, I'm trying to say, on times when I'm feeling down, or when I'm feeling like I can't even do this anymore.
Right.
He's been that like support and steam that I needed to keep going. So mentorship is definitely needed.
And I was the opposite.
Right. See, I was about to say I was the opposite. I try to do everything by myself.
Man, and I learned the hard way.
Yes.
Learned the hard
Yes.
way. And now, you know, at this age, you know, I have a mentor.
Yes.
You know, I have a coach. I got a therapist.
Yes.
Like, and it's and they're all good. You
Yes.
know, they're all there to be able to help you get to where you need to be in life.
Absolutely.
And mentorship is just, you know, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to have it.
It's definitely a blessing. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on my show.
Yes.
I want to thank you for sharing your
Thank you.
experience. And thank you for sharing 100 Black Men. You guys will definitely see me again, because I will definitely be bringing my grandchildren down.
right.
Good.
Maybe I'll come down and volunteer and help you guys out with some of
We
your
appreciate that.
things you're doing down there at the program.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for coming on. I really enjoyed it.
Appreciate
And this has
it.
been WillPower UnSurfaced. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.